Good morning, YouTube. Today we have Danny Pasula with his
Totally awesome Mermails.
All right, this will be sounds like a totally awesome profile. That's good.
Okay, so the biggest change of the deck is obviously the pulling of the Totally Awesome card for the new deck. So thus also changing the build to kind of accommodate for the new card. So first off, we play 3 Megalos, which are the win condition of the deck. This is the card that's mostly going to be winning the game. And then, like, obviously with cards to help kind of support him. And then we also play 3 Teus. I know a lot of people play 3 of this as well because it's not searchable, and some people only play 2 Megalos because he is searchable, but I still believe in 3 of this because it's a free special summon, as well as it gets you cards out of the deck as quickly as possible. And then, of course, I'm playing 2 Pikes. Because Pike is basically just another rank 4 monster. One of these would be a Turge if I didn't lose it in the move. But basically, Turge, discards you, searches you, level 3 stuff. I'm not playing Undyne in this build. I want to try and find space for it. For right now, I'm not playing it. But this deck is also heavily focused on rank 4s, so that's why we need the extra 4s. I want to play 1 Gund because it's kind of claggy over time, and you really only kind of need it once, and it is recyclable. So thanks to Totally Awesome and amongst other cards, so we only need 1. Same thing with Lind. She's kind of slow, so we only really need 1 per se, because we are only playing 1 sphere. But if I was to play more spheres, I would play more of this. But for right now, I think 1 is just like the perfect number. I don't think you need any more than that. Then obviously, Molten Glacia. This is like the boss, like one of my favorite boss monsters in the deck. It's just cool to just like, most games, if you play your cards right, you should be able to drop this on your opponent almost every game. And I usually do. And then you're obviously winning those games. That's kind of like the main engine, per se. I kind of like to include Molten Glacia in there. So this is like kind of the main engine part, Mermail portion. Then for the Atlanteans, we play 1 Diva because it's only at 1. Your main starter card of the deck, that's why we play it. 3 Prince, that's what Diva helps you go into. This is like, if it wasn't for Diva, this would be the best card in the deck. And it's just fantastic. Shouldn't really need to say much about Prince. You always want to see it. 2 Dragoons because it's only at 2. This is probably my favorite card of the deck because it searches everything. And it's recyclable, and you just see it a ton. You should be activating this at least, I've activated this at least 5 times per game. It's amazing. I have seen people play 3 infantry and like 2 marksmen, and I agree with the 2 of the marksmen, but I still only agree with 2 infantries for the most part. Infantry is really, really awesome, especially if you have a Neptibus and a Diva, because what you can do with all this is like you can play Diva, special summon the infantry, and infantry will give you an extra normal summon of an Atlantean, and you can normal summon Prince, and then you have a totally awesome play right there. So that could be one reason to play 3 infantries, but I still think infantry is kind of cloggy, and I see them as mostly engine requirements for Prince, per se, over anything else, and that's why I only play the couple. And that's the Atlantean portion. And then for the extras, one of my favorite superior extenders now is the Aqua Spirit, and I've even considered putting this up to 3, because you can summon these as many as possible as long as you have the things, and then you can overlay this with any of your other rank 4s to basically make Totally Awesome. And I don't see this thing enough.
So to make what?
Totally Awesome.
No, to just get to make.
Oh, it makes it makes the Bahamut Shark, and then you can basically make Totally Awesome.
Okay.
But you basically make Totally Awesome with this, and I feel like I want to see this more, so I might include more of these. Just the deck space is really tight because I'm not playing Pot of Desires, so I try to keep the deck as close as possible. Or I try to keep the deck as small as possible, so that's why I don't play the Pot of Desires right now. And then 1 Maxi. I think Maxi is very, very important in this format, and as well as next format, especially when like Zodiac Beasts and things come out. So, if I had 2, I'd be playing 2, but I only have the 1, so it's really, really cool when it is. That's the monster lineup. It's absolutely massive. You need to be playing heavy monster lineup. For spells, we do play the bomb card, Raigeki. Raigeki's just really good. Soul Charge is another great superior extender. I think should be played in most decks because just being able to recuperate your boards or just reset up is fantastic. 1 for 1 is a starter card of the deck. This is another Neptibus basically, and it's awesome for getting your play started. Mizuchi is a protection card as well as engine requirement for Megalo. Well, it's not really a requirement, but it's a nice thing to help kind of deck thin, and then you also have extra stuff for him, basically. And then, of course, the 1-up Star Goblin making our deck 39 cards. It's at 1. Oh well. Next, we also play 2 more Greeds. This is counts as like a starter card for the deck to kind of help get it going. This has been really popular lately. You basically can fix your hands where you see your unwanted Atlanteans and unwanted Mermails, or if you see too many of your Neptubuses or whatever, so then you can just kind of fix your hands. I've been really enjoying the idea of 3 Sacred Swords because basically I only really ever need to summon like 1 Megalo. And if I get this off of some of my other draw cards, I basically can just get rid of 1 and get into more cards. Usually, if you get 1 Megalo on the board, you should be winning anyway, and then you can just make another one usually really easily. Because this can banish from field as well, or hand. So this helps just like really extend your plays and get you started. So it's also a great starter card to kind of help the deck get going. And then I am playing 3 Instant Fusion. I usually only play 2 because Norden is at 1, but we want to see this as soon as possible because this is like a 1 card Totally Awesome, and that's why we want to see it as soon as possible. 2 MSTs, which would be Twin Twisters in actual tournament play, but for normal, usual, casual play, I do like to play MSTs. Either one you can't go wrong with because you just want OTK. And then, of course, I am playing the 1 Abyss Fear. It's a reactive extender, kind of like Maxi in a sense, and you don't really need to see it as soon as possible. It's good to have it whenever you summon like 2 Megalos so that you have an extra play for next turn if your board gets wiped and you won't die thanks to this card. But for the most part, I think it's only 1, and you could probably get away for cutting it, but I like it a lot, and I don't like to cut it. So the 9 deck is 40 cards. For the extra deck, we play the 1, Totally Awesome. This card is totally awesome. So if you don't know what this thing does, its first effect is irrelevant for you because we don't play any frogs. But its other effect is you can basically tribute this or any of your other Aquas, because you do play more Aquas, to negate a spell, trap, or monster effect, and then destroy that card, and then you can set it onto your field. Another cool thing that I learned about this is his effect is when he's sent to the graveyard, you can target any Aqua in your graveyard and put it back. And that includes himself. I'm not sure if there's a ruling against that, but so far everywhere else has seen that you can shuffle himself. So he's a reshuffleable Cyber Dragon Infinity, and it's an if effect, so it doesn't miss timing with the set that he does whenever he destroys. So that's pretty sick. Favorite card in the extra deck by far, and I usually go into it every game. The 1 Bahamut Shark, I really want to play 2, but the space is really, really tight. I'm trying to find the space for the second one, but it's just really, really good. Basically, if you're getting out, totally awesome. 101, it's basically Castel for the deck, but it's water, and that's why we play it. Number 37, the Shark, which I love this card. Helps against Cosmo, helps against decks that are just a lot stronger than you in a sense, and you need just extra extenders. The Dweller, Dweller, you know, this deck can make it. You only play 1 now, in my opinion, just because decks that use the graveyard effects, per se, like Burning Abyss and stuff, aren't as heavy now as they were. We still have Burning Abyss in the meta, but they're not as heavy, so I think Dweller is a good, like, one-of in the extra deck. That's it for the lower ranks. We do play for the higher ranks the Red Eyes Flare Dragon. This is basically just Cowboy for the deck. It's great. Big Eye steals games and steals monsters as well. And Biscayos, basically for locking the opponent out. This is a great first turn card if you can make a rank 7. Plus a Totally Awesome and a Mizuchi. That's his game. It's fantastic. That's it for the XYZ. It takes up a good majority, and that's what I wanted to focus on. But we do play some Synchros. We play Star Eater. You basically make this with Tatsunoko and Will and Glacia, and you basically can create just a really big hitter on the board to attack your opponent with. Leo is basically your towers of the deck with any of your 7s in Tatsunoko. It's really, really good. Meteor Burst, you could probably exchange this for any other 7. There's like a million 7s out there that I have been thinking about and testing. But I do like this one because it just locks out battle phase effects. But I'm not sure how relevant those are right now. So this could be switched for like any other 7 if you feel. You make this with Tatsunoko and any of your 4s. Arclight is also amazing. It's amazing to summon this thing and then to drop Molan Glacia on your opponent, because then the cards being discarded will get banished instead. And this is just any negation, so it's also pretty sick, and I really like it. You basically make this with Diva and any other level 2. And then, or, you know, Tatsunoko and one of your Neptubuses if you feel. And then Tatsunoko. Basically, you make this with, this allows you to go into any of these guys, and it's also unaffected by monster effects. And basically, you make this with Diva and Molan Glacia. Or not Molan Glacia, Diva and Neptubus. Pretty cool. Love it. And then for the last card, 1 Norden, because it's at 1. That's a shame. But basically this helps just the plays go off, and it's a 1 card. You know, you go into this with Instant Fusion, and it's a 1 card, Totally Awesome. And it's Totally Awesome. So, the pros and cons of this deck is, the pros is that, like, it's very fast and it's very strong, and also it's kind of a glass cannon, but thanks to Totally Awesome being a release, it's, you know, it's definitely has a lot more resilience and a lot more recoverability that the deck hasn't had before. And this deck is going to change in the future. You know, maybe get some more rank 4 potential. Some say you should play more of this, and, you know, I would probably consider playing 2 as well. Maybe for tournament type events or something, or just when the price goes down. Because right now it's sitting at about 60 or 70, but I definitely see this probably dropping in the future.
So did you buy a tray for this card?
I pulled this card at Sneak Peek at our second location. I went for a round 2 and I pulled this thing. It's kind of at a high price right now, but definitely nowhere near Pot of Desires right now. So if you can get your hands on this card, I definitely recommend it. At least 1. You mostly need 1. I usually win games with 1 alone, and I usually don't even need to use its negation effect. But this adds resilience and power to the deck that it really has been kind of needing. So I definitely recommend this card, and if you can get your hands on it, definitely do your best. But you don't need it. You can just play the normal Mermail build if you want to. But that's all I have to say about the deck.
It also puts Danny in a good mood.
It does. I was so happy when I pulled this. But that's all I have to say about the deck. It's pretty awesome, and it's one of my favorites.
It's what awesome?
It's totally awesome.
Yeah.